Hey guys, this is Laura from the Sketching Pad. I'm going to show you what comes in your acrylic kit, and I'm also going to share with you some general principles on acrylic painting. So each kit comes with a printout of the image that you have picked, and that's just so that you can keep it close to you while you're painting, so that you know where to put each color or where to shade and where not to shade. And just to keep in mind what the end result is going to look like. And it's also going to come with a pre-sketched palette wood sign or canvas. This is the palette wood sign, and you may have picked one of three sizes of canvases. This one is the 16 by 20, and that's a thicker canvas. It is the largest size that you might have gotten. You may have gotten an 11 by 14 or a 8 by 10, either one of those. It just doesn't matter which one you pick. It's gonna look great in any size. You're also going to get the paint colors that go with the image that you picked. This one was for the Welcome Sunflower, so it's a little bit more limited of a palette, but you can see some of the pods are larger and some of the pods are smaller, and that just depends on your image. So you may have picked an image that needs a full rainbow of colors, whereas this Welcome Sunflower is a more limited palette. And you may have larger pods or smaller pods. You just have the right amount of paint for the image that you've picked. So don't be concerned about that. You have what you need. You're also going to be getting a mixing plate. Now the mixing plate is if you need to create different shades of color, if you need to blend them together, that's what that's for. You also got two different sizes of brushes. You got a medium to large brush and a small detail brush. And they're used for different things, and they're going to cover you for whatever you do need. So the large round brush is usually used for larger areas, whereas the smaller detail brush is used for smaller areas. You're going to get an instructional video in your kit as well. So just know that you're not alone. You're going to get all of the techniques that you need to create your masterpiece in those. It's going to cover technique. It's going to cover color mixing and brush stroke control and that kind of stuff. So just know that you're going to be able to make it through the process. You have help, and you've got all the techniques that you need in the video. All right, so I'm going to give you guys some tips on what you might need on hand from your house. You're going to want some sort of mason jar or solo cup or something like that that you can rinse your brush in. So you can also use a Dixie cup if you want. Just make sure that whatever jar you use is not one that you don't mind getting paint on. You probably don't want to use like a nice china or something like that. Just make sure that it can get a little dirty. You're also going to want a rag or a paper towel or something like that to dry your brush on in between steps. If you choose a rag, again, make sure that it's something that you don't mind getting stained, because acrylic paint is permanent, so it's not going to come out. Just make sure that you don't pick something that is nice, like a nice dish rag or something like that. You may want to have a blow dryer on hand. That is not necessary. We use a blow dryer often at the studio to blow dry the acrylic in between phases, but it's completely optional. Acrylic paint dries relatively quickly, so it's only going to speed it up a little bit, but it might be handy to have if you have one around. Okay, so now I'm going to share some general principles of painting with acrylic. The first is that acrylic is really forgiving, and what that means is that you can make mistakes and you can cover them later. So don't stress about it if you get the wrong color in the wrong section, if you go outside the lines. Just don't panic, breathe, let the painting dry or blow dry it if you have a dryer, and then go over it again. Acrylic paint will cover, it's thick, so it's opaque, and it will cover all of your mistakes. So just relax, and you will don't have to worry about making mistakes. Keep in mind that, like with the paint rag, it does not come out of your clothes. So you probably want to be wearing something that you don't mind getting a little messy. Throw on an old t-shirt. If you've got an apron or a smock around, those are handy to have so you don't get anything on your clothes or your pants. Take care of your brushes. And what that means is that when you've got your paintbrush and you're finished with the color, rinse it out really good in the water, dry it on the rag, and then lay the brush on the table instead of leaving the brush in the water. If you leave the brush in the water, it's not the end of the world, but it does make your brush warp a little, so it'll like take a little curve in the end, and they're just a little bit harder to work with when they take that little curve. So if you can rinse it out and lay it on the table, that's going to be much better. You'll find that when you're painting most of the images, if you've done more than one with us, that you're going to be starting with the background and working to the foreground. And what that means is that you're going to be doing whatever is back here first. That just gives you a good base to work from, and it usually covers the most area. And because also if like your background gets into your petals, like at the beginning, acrylic paint is forgiving. If you get the background into your petals or whatever your image is, you can just cover it, and that makes it a little bit easier to do your background first. Keep in mind that every painting has what we like to call an awkward phase. Now, the awkward phase is just when you're working on your painting and it's looking a little patchy, it's not finished, you're like got gappy parts, part of your canvas is showing through, maybe it's a little streaky and it's just kind of looking a little, just press through. It makes sense that your painting wouldn't look finished when it's not finished. So just trust yourself, trust the techniques, don't panic, just stick it out to the end. It's gonna look great. Don't give up in the middle. It's gonna look all right in the end. Something that you want to make sure that you're doing is that if you've got a drinking cup, something that you are enjoying while you're painting, make sure that you don't put it next to your mixing cup. And the reason for that is because inevitably you're going to stick your paintbrush into your drinking cup, and it's going to make you sad because your nice drink is now going to be paint water. So make sure that you separate those two things a good distance so you're not tempted to rinse your brush in the wrong container, and you're also not tempted to grab your paint container and take a nice big swig out of it. So just, that's a tip. We've done it many a times here at the studio. Paint water is gross, and we like coffee and tea. So just make sure you separate them, and that'll be great. Know that we are here for you guys. So if you run into any issues, if you have any questions maybe that we didn't cover in our videos, please reach out to us. We'd love to help you. So just send us a private message on Facebook or an email. We will do whatever we can to help you guys create your masterpiece. We want to see you guys succeed. If we have to create an additional video, we would be happy to do that as well. Also, we want to see what you're working on. So if you think about it, we would love for you to post on Instagram or Facebook and tag us in it so that we can encourage you however we can. Or if you're not comfortable with posting it online like that, you could send us it in an email or a private message on Facebook. We just love to see what you guys are working on. Thanks, guys. I hope that you have the very best time creating your masterpiece, and we'll see you soon.